Secondly, write this down. We have to seek the life to come. We have to seek the life to come. Simeon's entire song is built on the assurance he has that when he breathes his last, his life will not end. Jews of the Old Testament, like Simeon, the saints of old, they believed in the resurrection. They believed in the life everlasting. And frankly, without that hope anchoring your heart, there is no way for you to die in peace. If there's no life to come, then it doesn't matter whether you die with dignity or die kicking and screaming, if in the end all you do is just die. And so the Bible tells us, Hebrews 13:14, for here we have no lasting city, but we seek the city which is to come. Repeat these words after me. Here we have no lasting city, but we seek the city which is to come. And the idea of resurrection is so essential to our faith. Without it, Christianity collapses. Paul said to the Corinthians, he said, if Christ hasn't been raised, then there is no resurrection. If there is no resurrection, then you are still in your sins, and your faith is futile. In other words, let's just pack up and go home now. Shut down your computers at home. Let's be done with it if there's no life to come. It's just wasted time. And the reason seeking the life to come is so critical for us all has to do with the nature of this life. This life is filled with things, which, if this life is all there is, makes our existence nothing but a cosmic joke of which you and I are the punchline. Without the life to come, this life is, as Shakespeare said through Macbeth, it's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I've used that on the racquetball court a few times where I make a great shot and the opponent shrugs it off. And that shot was full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. You know the things we're talking about. We're talking about death. Simeon references death in his song. Joseph's going to die. Jesus is going to die. Suffering. Looking at Mary, saying, a sword is going to pierce your soul. You're not going to have an easy life, Mary. Conflict. This child is appointed for the rising and falling of many in Israel. And in fact, right that very minute that this is happening in the temple, right that very minute, conflict and suffering and death was brewing all around them in Jerusalem as King Herod had heard a rumor that a child had been born. They were calling him the King of the Jews. And you know what King Herod did? He summoned a platoon of soldiers and he dispatched them to Bethlehem, somewhere in that time frame, and ordered them to slaughter all the children under 2, all the male children under 2. It's right here in the story. This life is, as philosopher Thomas Hobbes said, this life on this side of things is nasty, brutish, in other words, animal-like, nasty, brutish, and short. Put that in your Christmas card this year. If there is no resurrection, then eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. And if you are not in any fashion seeking the life to come, then, my friend, you've got blinders on. And this castle of happiness that you're building up, that you're trying to create in this life, it's an illusion. And it's going to come crashing down sooner rather than later. And so what we've experienced this year in the pandemic, the heartache and the misery, the anxiety, the fear, this is what's being talked about in this story. And frankly, this is just a glimpse of how bad it could be. You talk to your great-grandparents. They would tell you this is nothing, what we've been through. You say, why does God allow times like this? It's simple, to bring us to our senses, to help us think clearly about how life really is. Back in ancient Rome, and I have Aaron O'Neill to thank for this story. And it's true. I fact-checked you, Aaron. It's true. Whenever a general had a great victory, he'd come back to Rome, they would put on a great procession for him and have a parade for him. And all the people in Rome would flood out to the streets, and they'd sing praises to the great general. Meanwhile, behind him was appointed a slave to stand in this chariot behind him. And while the procession was going on and the people were cheering, that slave would whisper into his ears, Memento, Mori. Memento Mori. Remember, you are mortal. Whisper in your neighbor's ear right now, and you at home do this. Memento Mori. This pandemic has been allowed by God to whisper in our ears, actually to shout at us. Memento Mori. Remember, you are mortal. Remember to seek the next life if you want to live this life well.